Now, joining us to squawk about it, Futures of CEOs is Charles Payne, as well as the managing director of Grupo Levy and Company, Mark DeGennaro. So, gentlemen, let's start off with the yes or no question. Should Rick Wagner, should he have been fired? What do you think, Charles?
If it was 4 months ago, even 2 months ago, I would have said yes. No, rather. Yes, 2 months ago. But yesterday, I don't think so. Yesterday, I felt like he was more of a sacrificial lamb.
What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I agree with Charles. I think at this juncture, there's not going to be a tremendous change in vision or strategy as billed by the White House. GM is on a path to go into a restructuring here, probably in a formal restructuring. I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference.
Well, Paul Ingrassia actually disagrees with both of you, because he says if you look at Rick Wagner's record over the last, couple years, he's been in the CEO position since 2000. He points to GM stock, which has gone from $70 to $3 a share. He says even if you look at it outside of this year, so you look back on 2005 when car sales were up, the company still lost about $10.6 billion. That's
there's no doubt about all of that, Jenna, and that's why I said 2 months ago yes, but I felt it was a little disingenuous yesterday, and it just sort of, to me, it went beyond yesterday. It wasn't about GM yesterday. It was about business in general. It was about the Wall Street gathering of bankers on Friday at the White House. It was a message. It was
But there's still accountability, correct? I mean, there still has to be some sense of accountability when you get a government investment.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, if you bring in a new CEO, for the most part, they're given 3 to 5 years to make the job work. We know that it's not about the next guy in line being so much better.
Right, that's true. And Mark, to that point, then who would the next guy be in line? I mean, we know Fritz Henderson is up there. He's part of the kind of the old guard of GM.
He is. He's a well-respected executive, but there's not going to be any fundamental change in, again, direction or strategy. So whether Rick Wagner should have been fired 6 years ago or 5 years ago or 4 years is a different question than whether he should be fired, 60 days prior to a deadline to come up with a viable restructuring plan.
Well, it brings up, of course, this moral hazard now we're confronting again, is that what about some of these big banks? Dick Beauvais in a letter this week was saying, even though the Bank of America received $45 billion from the government, they still haven't used any of it. They're just sitting on it. This is his analysis of it. Charles, it brings up, again, this slippery slope of investment from the government and accountability, because someone somewhere has to be accountable. If this doesn't work, do we get to fire the president? Yes, we do, because we vote him out of office,
4 years
right?
from now, yeah. I mean, listen, the Aztecs used to kill 400,000 people a year, cut their heads off in a bid to the gods, if you will. We could see the president, pulling out and sacrificing a whole lot of business executives to appease the bloodthirst of the general public. But to your point, it doesn't make a lot of difference if things don't change. Now, as far as the banks are concerned, they're concerned about this, and that's one of the reasons so many of them are saying, listen, we want to return this TARP money. Right. And the reason the White House is saying, you know what, you may not be able to. Right, you remember in the Bronx tale when the bikers came in, they told them, listen, can you leave? And they didn't leave. And they said, now you can't leave. So same thing. You took the TARP money. Now you can't give it back.
So we went from the analogy of the Aztecs to now the Bronx Tale. Mark, do you just want to finish us up on
I
another
just want to say,
analogy?
I think yesterday's move was largely symbolic. I think it's meant to send a message to CEOs that, look, if the mess occurred on your watch, you can't clean it up and you got to take our money.
Does it complicate the restructuring? You're a restructuring expert, though. Does that complicate things for you if you were called in to work with this company?
No, it doesn't complicate it, because I don't see a fundamental shift of strategy or vision.
Okay, we're going to end it there. Interesting discussion. Aztecs?
400,000 people a year.
We want video.
Just to keep the gods happy.
Connell, we want video of that next time when we bring that up. Beat that, Connell. DeGennaro is joining us once again from Grupo Levy, as well as Charles Payne, and Ashley Webster is also in the mix a bit here. Mark, what do you think the market has priced in at this point?
Again, I think the market has priced in a lot of bad news at this point. There's a tremendous amount of pessimism right now, and people are looking for any information, any good news to see that things are bottoming out and starting to turn around.
There seems to be a lot of skepticism. Ashley will confirm this, I think, that the G20 this week is going to add any kind of clarity to this, right? I mean, what did you say? They're going to come out and sing We Are the World and not much else, right?
Yeah, I mean, already the bickering going into the meeting doesn't exactly it doesn't give us a lot of confidence. I don't think a lot's going to come out of this. Certainly they'll be boosting funding for the International Monetary Fund and coming down hard on these so-called tax havens. They'll point to that as progress. But as far as any fiscal policy out there, no. Regulation will be talked about. But, it really comes down to the individual countries, although a lot of that will be papered over, I think, and they will be singing We Are the World. But the markets, I don't think, are expecting a whole lot coming out of this meeting.
Charles, would you like to start with "We Are the World"? We know you have a good singing voice. Maybe we could just start it now.
No, I'm going to wait. We'll sing a little Pearl Jam after the break. But, I think Lulu, by the way, is going to be the big star out there. I really do. But as far as
because we all know that blue-eyed bankers are the cause of all these
right,
problems.
and then of course, then that Friday, the photo op was sort of like, oh boy, maybe he had a good point there. But every time to get Ken Chenault in every picture, you know what I mean? Hey, Ken, get over here before we got the AP guy over here. They're trying to spread the black guy around everywhere. I think he brought his twin brother with him. But anyway.
Okay. Getting back to with the markets, though, Charles, it seems like so we had kind of a rally, quote unquote, over the last 3 weeks on Wall Street. Then we gave back some of those gains yesterday. We attributed it to the automakers. But we had the jobs report. I mean, the markets, have they priced in everything
I
so
actually
far?
see the market in a little differently. I see the market as looking optimistic. In other words, finding the silver lining in every single thing. The last couple of weeks, no matter what it is, the second worst new home sales ever. Hey, but it was better. So I think the market wants to rally significantly higher from here. I don't know how it's going to react Friday, though. If the number is like 700,000, for instance, or north of that,
right.
Can it rationalize that? Can it sweep that under the rug? That remains to be seen.
Although a lot of this stuff makes a lot of sense. So we'd rally 20% in a bear market rally, and then we sell off a little bit more. It's exactly what we've done a couple of times, and it hasn't. We'll see whether or not these lows hold again. Anyway, Mark, thanks a lot for coming in. We appreciate all the time this morning. It was great to have you on a day when